Welcome back, everyone, to the Finders Flippers Resell Podcast. Gentlemen, how are you this evening?
What is going on, guys? Episode 57. I've got a little treat for you guys later that I think you are going to absolutely love, brought to you by our good friends at visitknoxville.com. They don't know that they're supporting and sponsoring a portion of our show, but they are, and I think you guys are going to like it, so stay tuned.
Interesting.
Kind of our official sponsor, right?
Yeah.
That's right.
Johnny's going to be throwing something Knoxville at us, it sounds like, Stewart.
Yeah, ooh, stay tuned. Could be. It's just all Buffalo trivia.
I'm in trouble. Go Pittsburgh, Johnny, and I got it.
Saw your video. It looks like you had a rough week with packages, Johnny.
Yeah, it was awful. I lost a night's sleep for sure. We had, so, like anybody, we drop off our packages on Mondays. Like, just you ship your weekend stuff. And we just throw them in the bin and they scan them, track them. We never have any problems ever. But we went to a different post office, one that we go to sometimes, but it's not like our home post office. And we just threw them in the, those, like, do you guys have those, like, big metal, like, you throw them in and then you got to, like, you hope the basket's not full behind it. So we're loading them in, think nothing of it, wipe our hands, and, another weekend in the books. So I get an email from a buyer who bought something and needed it by Friday. And this was on Poshmark. So I was like, it'll ship out Monday morning, priority, you'll have it by Friday. So Monday night, she shoots me sends us a message and says, hey, do you have the tracking on this? I don't see it tracking.
Yeah, real quick, John, you were talking about the metal bins that you put packages in. You always hope that when you put yours in and it's the one that gets stuck on, because and you hope nobody comes up and just starts doing this to it and just damages your package. But anyway.
So a couple of weeks ago, we were using it and I just kept having it hit the top because it was full. And finally, the worker came out and he was like, hey, man, stop banging on it. And I'm like, oh, sorry, I think it's full. And he's like, oh, hold on, let me empty it. We drop them in like normal, move on. So the lady who needed her item by Friday sends a message Monday night and is like, hey, you said you were going to ship it. Do you have the tracking number? Because it's not showing you shipping. So I'm like, Monday night, sometimes it just takes time. So I sent her the tracking number and just said, usually it takes, 24 hours or so, give it a day for it to track. That at least kind of put it on our radar, because when we go to our post office, within an hour, usually everything's tracking. So Tuesday, it's still not tracking. And we're like, all right, it's a little slow, but, whatever. Wednesday, still not tracking. And we dropped this off. It had to be 11 a.m. So Wednesday afternoon, still none of our packages from the weekend are tracking. So we've got, 15 Poshmark orders and 24 eBay orders not tracking. So then the reminders start coming in, right? Be sure to ship this item. And, eBay is the worst one. So Wednesday, I was at work and I text Lizzie and I was like, if you're around the post office, will you just pop in and just see, hey, 48 hours later, why is none of this stuff tracking? Which really, it was 50 plus hours. So she goes in, talks to the guy, and the guy's like, yeah, we're really short staffed. We're 2 days behind. If you ship something priority, they should start being delivered tomorrow. If nothing comes in tomorrow, put in a missing package thing. So I'm like, okay. So that night I don't sleep, because sometimes you get updates at 2 a.m, 3 a.m, 4 a.m. So I'd fall asleep for an hour, wake up in a panic, check, nothing tracking, fall back. So I'm like, okay, this is not good. This is not good. So Thursday, I had to go into the office again, and I'm like, Lizzie, like, go in there, like, yell, like, tell them, like, you want the postmaster, like, whatever it is. So now it's Thursday afternoon, 3 days. Our ground eBay orders started tracking, but nothing else.
So where did they start tracking from, Johnny? Did they just get scanned in Greensboro there, or had they gone somewhere else and got scanned?
Nope, they ended up getting scanned in Greensboro. So Lizzie goes in Thursday. Now, we drop these off Monday morning. Thursday, goes to the front desk, and the lady's like, I don't know what to tell you. Lizzie's like, is there like the postmaster? Is there like a manager? Like, who can I talk to? And it's like the lady real snippy. And I feel bad. They are like, everything with the post office right now, like you feel for them. So the postmaster comes out and she's like, no, like, if they didn't get scanned here, they'll get scanned somewhere else. We're not allowed, like basically we don't hold packages, long story short. Mm-hmm. So that morning in my insomnia, I went and put in missing claims for every single Poshmark item. And just like I wrote it up on Word so I could just copy, paste. So then I start getting all these phone calls because what I didn't realize, and I don't know if you guys know, it's the destination that has to follow up, not where you say you ship from. So I start getting these calls from California, Texas. Like I'm getting all these phone calls and I'm like explaining it. And they're like, well, we can only see the one package that's supposed to be delivered to us. And I'm like, oh God, I'm not going through this phone call 15 times. So long story, even longer, I guess. Lizzie goes in about 1:15. This is when she starts talking to the postmaster. I put in a thing for eBay because we had 2 eBay orders that weren't tracking. So I asked, eBay to call you. So it's like 1:45, eBay calls me and I'm like, hey, I've got 2 packages that aren't tracking. Like, should I just refund? I didn't want to get dinged for not shipping a package. I go, should I just, refund them, lost mail, and deal with it on the back end? And he's like, what's the item number? So I gave him one of the item numbers, and he's like, sir, I don't know what you're talking about. This is tracking. I go, huh? What? I go, okay.
I'm sorry, what?
One more. I'm like, I just looked. This was not tracking. I go, try the other one. I give him, he goes, sir, no, these are both tracking. You're fine. There's nothing to worry about. I was like, oh, okay. So I go pull them up within a half hour, 45 minutes of Lizzie going in, talking to the postmaster. They all minus one started tracking.
Just at Greensboro again?
Yeah, at the same time.
Well, you do know that you live in the black hole of the post office because right now Greensboro is truly the black hole of postal packages. I've had, over the last 2 weeks, I've had at least 6 packages that get scanned in Greensboro, then they don't get scanned again for 4 days. I had one go it went to the Greensboro Distribution Center. Then 3 days later, it scanned at the Greensboro Sorting Center. And I asked the guy at my post office, I said, do you think those are separate buildings? He said, probably not. So it probably moved from one end of the building to the other. But then I was really sweating it because one of them, so I dropped off 21 whatnot packages, not from my show last week, but the one from the week before. Everyone started tracking except for the guy who spent $750 with me. And I tried that insurance to the package, but I ended up generating 3 labels and whatnot, credited me back for the 2 labels, but I never could get the insurance option to work. And by that time I'd already stuck a label in there and I thought, I never have anything lost, they'll get there. And so then this one package gets in Greensboro, but it finally just today got dropped off at the post office where the guy picks them up. So, but it literally so that would have been the show on the 7th, I think. No, February 28th. Is when that show was, and and it just now got there. But yeah, Greensboro is terrible, and I know that. Like my post office said, they used to process. The reason Greensboro is getting so slammed, I think, is they used to process stuff locally here in Knoxville, Now they just ship it to Greensboro. That's like been designated the place. So I'm sure that all these other cities that used to process their own packages are now just shipping to Greensboro for the final distribution. Like I'll get scanned here in Knoxville sometime, but then they go to Greensboro and just sit there. So yeah, it's awful.
And in my head, I'm like, this is 14 Poshmark orders. So like, and thank God, like Poshmark is very, very forgiving. They're like, you can manually put like ship but not tracking, and it buys you more time. And like, thank God, because eBay will just, think you're a criminal and shut you down. But in my head, I'm like, 14 packages not tracking. Like, they're not going to look back and be like, oh, you've never had an issue ever. They're just going to go and say you're scamming 14 people. And I'm like, if we lose Poshmark, I mean, that's a lot of money.
You know the best way to get them to start scanning, don't you?
What's that?
Just refund them, and then literally within hours you refund and they start tracking. That's what happened to me over Christmas. If you remember, we talked about it.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, you were who I thought of.
I mean, but it was literally like 26 days or something, So finally I said, I'm refunding. And literally the day after I refund them, every one of them started tracking. I actually had a couple of people reach back out to me and say, hey, do you want me to, send you the money back? And I'm like, no, that's, I appreciate your patience and just, keep it.
Yeah.
And luckily, no given one was that expensive. I mean, it was like $150, I think. So, but yeah, I don't know. This is right now, I think is probably the worst time I've seen for shipping since I've been doing this. Because if you get on any of the Facebook groups now, I mean, there's always people bitching about shipping. I mean, that, it doesn't matter when it's been. But now, I mean, it seems like more people, or have stories like you where they drop 15 things off. And, I've even gotten to the point now because I used to never do this. I mean, I'm standing in line if the line's not too long to get my packages scanned, so I at least have that acceptance scan. I've never done that before, but I'm like you I'm like at 2.86% on late scans or whatever, and 3%'s the threshold for top rated. So I mean, I'm kind of right on that bubble where I don't want to have too many, so I try to get them scanned now. But
and those numbers are funny, like you could ship 1,000 packages on time and it'll go up 0.01%. And then you have one late one and it moves like 3%.
Yeah.
And you're like, shoot percentage way down. Shooting percentage, batting percentage, everything falls.
But it's funny, like, so we did this topic on our channel as just like a what sold video and brought it up as a topic. It is nowhere near one of our better performing videos from a view standpoint, but we have never had more comments on a video. It's at 4,000 views, which is low for us, but it has 290 comments. We've never had a video with that many comments, and it's just horror story after horror story after horror story.
Yeah, so let's see if we can get 400 comments on this video. Drop your horror stories.
Yes, I want to hear your horror stories.
And then also the other thing I'd like to hear from people watching and from y'all, are UPS or FedEx a better option? I don't think they are, because like FedEx, I'll never use them again after they've screwed me 3 times on like small boxes. I mean, nothing that could have ever gotten into dimensional weight and told me they weighed like 50 pounds. And there's no way to fight it. I mean, I yelled, I screamed, I had the receipt where I dropped it off, which they don't weigh. They won't, they go, we can weigh it, but it's not going to put that on the receipt. Can you write it in blood or something on there? I don't know. So I'll never use FedEx. UPS, I mean, I've had issues with them too. So up until recently, the Postal Service has actually, to me, been the most reliable. But
yeah, I agree.
I don't know. And I will say I was using the UPS Ground Advantage, or I mean the smart. What was it? Smart Post.
The SurePost.
SurePost for that's Fed. Is that FedEx or is that UPS?
FedEx. Oh, okay. UPS.
Yeah. So I was using that, but now since the post office, that contract ended, so now UPS does the whole delivery themselves. now the price has gone up and it's never cheaper than Ground Advantage. So that's the only time I would ever use UPS. If it was like, $1 cheaper, I would use it. But now, I don't really see there's a good option past the Postal Service.
No, and I mean, I guess if you think of it in like the grand scheme of things, like, we've probably shipped thousands of packages. So to have 20 go wrong, like that's still a pretty good percentage. It's just, it was all at once.
Well,
it wasn't one here or one there.
I mean, and I agree with you, but the thing you got to look at is this the start of a trend of some sort, because you've experienced it, I've experienced it here recently, and it appears a lot of other people have as well. So, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems to be getting worse. Now, maybe it'll work itself out. But I had another package. The guy messaged me, he goes, "Hey, I'm just letting you know that I haven't gotten my package yet." And I tracked it, and it actually, he lives in Ottawa, which is like a suburb of Chattanooga. He said it made it to Chattanooga the day after you dropped it off. He said, "Oh, I thought I'm going to get this really quick." And then it went to Greensboro for some reason. And then it went to Memphis. And then it went back to Chattanooga, and it finally says it's in Chattanooga now. So maybe he'll get it tomorrow. But I just told him his package was taking a little vacation. So,
Well, it's scary because ultimately, until it gets to where it's going, it's on you.
That's right.
We had some pretty good, I know there were maybe 3 of those items sold for over $100. And then you just start thinking of, God, if I have to refund these people.
The good thing with both Ground Advantage and Priority Mail, Ground Advantage, unlike the old, whatever it used to be called, it does have the $100 of insurance built in. And in my I've only had one lost package, like in all that never showed up. And that was like an instant refund. I mean, they
are pretty good about it.
It happened to be Priority Mail, and now you have to wait a certain amount of time and all that kind of stuff. But at least if it's lost packages, it's a lot different than broken packages, because those cases are hard to win, because you got to get the customer to take it to the post office, and they've changed it used to not be that way, but now you've got to either get the item back and take it yourself, or take it, and they have never approved those. I've heard Pirate Ship's insurance is better, but I've never had to do a claim with anything I've done through Pirate Ship. But I do know for lost packages, there's not a lot they can say except refund you. So,
the one thing that I've experienced with UPS is like a lot of just wrong weights coming back. You ship something for 9 pounds, and then you get this adjustment, that it was 30 pounds, and you're like, there's no way.
Yeah, see, UPS and FedEx are bad about that. And I mean, I get there are people who they'll ship something that's 16 by, 18 by 12, which, really gets well into dimensional weight, and they'll put a wrong weight in, and you're going to get an adjustment. But like I said, with FedEx, I've had where I've shipped an 8 by 6 by 4 box, and I get an adjustment for $55 for an oversized package. I'm like, and you're trying to show them the listing. Hey, I shipped this car. It's all I shipped. But UPS is bad about that too, where even if you have the dimensions right. Now, I do know where people get burned a lot. If you use a true 12 by 12 by 12 box, those are almost, those are inner dimensions anyway. So the outer dimensions are almost always like 12 and a quarter. And if you start doing 12 and a quarter times 3, that's more than the, whatever it is, 1,728 cubic inches. So you end up getting that overage. Now, depend if it's going to California, it could be substantial too, because they do it when they have to adjust it. A lot of people don't realize they use the retail counter rate too, not your discounted rate. So, So if you're using 12 by 12 by 12 boxes, be careful. You either need to maybe cut it down a little bit, or just, pray that it doesn't get caught in the automated scans. What do you think, Wes? This has been like the Johnny and Stewart show so far. Wes
Talk on, gentlemen.
They're being quiet, so.
Yeah, you go ahead and talk on. Have at it. It's a great topic. I'm listening like everybody else. Hopefully, our 261 subscribers that we're up to now, and then the whole lot of other people are tuning in, because that's a pretty hefty and high mountain to climb, Johnny. If if it didn't work out for you, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
hopefully that all works out.
Yeah.
So that means we're only, if my math is correct, and y'all know I'm not always real good at math, but I think we're only 39 subscribers away from our next live then, right?
That's hard to believe. That is crazy. 261 of them. Thank you all so much for tuning in.
300 is more than 261. So
we need to check the math on that. Let's get with $1 Million Peddlers and make sure we have the proper math on that. He's our math liaison.
By the way, I'm on auction countdown watch here on my other screen. I've got that album I showed last week, the Jesus and Mary chain. I put it on eBay, started at 99 cents. It's up to $40.99. 8 minutes and 22 seconds left, 11 bids, and 36 people watching. So if you hear me, I might be doing some fist pumping over here if it goes up real high. It's like, I don't know. Yeah. Had I sold the Phantom of the Opera book when we did the show last week?
No, not yet. You had just
so same thing. I started at 99 cents because I am a gambling man. And it literally went from $40 to $160 in the last 5 seconds. So it ended up selling for like $160. And my estimate before was I was going to be happy if it sold for $80 based on comps I'd seen. So yeah, I was thrilled with that.
And they paid?
Yep, paid immediately. So
that's what we like.
I was happy because the person who he was bidding against was from Great Britain. And not that I have a problem shipping overseas, because it probably would have gone through the eBay Standard International anyway. It's just it takes so long for it to get there, and you just never know. So
yeah,
this went to Louisiana, I think. So just one of our southern neighbors.
So do you guys remember when I was talking about eBay giving us like those weird zone charges?
Mm-hmm.
Where like I was randomly being charged like an extra dollar, whatever, like every odd packages. So like 3 months ago, we opened up a P.O. box at the post office that we normally go to. So I changed all my eBay addresses to that P.O. box, and we have not had one since.
So were you in a different zip code before? Was your return address in a different zip code than where you were trying?
It was a different zip code.
Yeah, I've heard of. That's another thing that I've just recently seen a lot of people starting to post about that. That hey, I dropped it off at a post office that's closer to my house, but it's a different zip code. Now they're giving these zone charges.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, because I used, when I worked in Chattanooga, I used to drop off packages in Chattanooga. I was always under the impression as long as you dropped it off, in the same, like, not local zone, but in the same zone as far as, pricing, that it didn't matter. And I never had an issue. But I heard somebody said it has to do with the post office not getting credit for the drop off. I don't know. But it's funny you said that, because I saw several other people mentioning that.
So what would you do if, not that this would really ever happen, but like say you're on vacation, you're in Florida, and you're not gone long enough to whatever, right? Like to put your store on away mode, or somebody at home package the ships for you. Like say you're in Florida, you sell something that you bought in Florida while you were on vacation, and you just posted it, and then you dropped it off at the post office there.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess it
would you just pay retail?
I don't know what would happen. So you're saying you would generate the label out of eBay, just so it would have your zip code.
Yeah,
because you don't want to. I've heard people say you could just change the return address to something that's got the zip code. Of course, if you don't live there, I don't know how you do that. But you couldn't do that in Florida, obviously, because if it didn't get there, you'd have to make another trip to Florida to get it. So yeah, I don't know.
Nobody's going to go on a selling spree around Florida.
I mean, if you
pull it off, so we need to know that answer.
If you weren't going to be gone long enough to worry about it at home, though, would you just wait and ship it when you got back home? Then, I mean, it's
maybe. And then, so another interesting story. Lizzie picked up a hat at the bins the other day that is from a whiskey distillery. and I posted it on eBay, no problem. I went to cross-list it on Poshmark and Mercari and got a prohibited item notification, so it wouldn't post. The name of
On
the
which platform? On both of those, or just Poshmark?
Yeah, Poshmark and Mercari would not allow it to be posted via Vendu. So the name of the distillery is Chicken Cock Whiskey. And so it's picking up that second C word and is flagging it as inappropriate. So would you just not post it? Would you, I don't know, put in?
I would just not post it. It's not worth losing any kind of,
You can wear it here on the podcast, can't you? Or you think you get us dinged for that too?
So this is it.
Lean in just a little.
So this is the hat. Because people like brewery and distillery hats and stuff like that. So they actually do pretty well. But now I'm wondering if I should take it off eBay before they like do a scan and they're like, wait a minute.
I mean, that's not, I don't know. I don't know about eBay. If anybody does, I don't know about prohibited words like that. I don't know if they.
So, I mean, just ask yourself, Johnny, is it worth going through the hassle and all that?
Well, I'm just annoyed because like it's not wrong, right? Like I'm not like, but what I'm wondering is Vendu, because we post on eBay and then import and cross list. So is Vendu flagging it on behalf of Poshmark and Mercari, or
I don't think so.
Is Poshmark and Mercari saying
so,
because I mean whether it's Vendu or List Perfectly, they don't really have any relationship with those platforms to tell it what they're. It's just typing everything in for you, for lack of a better term. So I just think it's those platforms must be searching for those words.
I did put little like whatever the stars are called. I don't know, what are those called? I don't know English very well, but whatever those stars are. So it was C ** K, and it did post that way, but I took it down.
There's 1 minute left and not 1 minute left in this auction. So.
We're gonna wait with bated breath. Go ahead, come on now.
Yeah, hopefully some action.
Can you share your screen? Can you share your screen?
Yeah, yes. I can.
Let's see it. Let's watch it as it
Can we just all watch this together? It's like New Year's. We're doing.
I can get it shared in time.
No. Oh, there it goes.
There you go.
Right, 22 seconds. Let's see if we get any more.
This is exciting.
This is exciting.
It's like probably should hide the bidder.
Oh, dang! 10, 9.
I guess I'm not going to get any more bids. That was very anticlimactic. Nope, got one more bid. $1 more.
Woohoo!
Look at that.
All right.
Congratulations.
Well, that was exciting. So for that last minute, we got to see that bid go up a whole nother $1. Not quite as exciting as my Phantom of the Opera, but hey, I paid $2 for it. So
do you think that was the first ever eBay auction ending on a podcast?
I doubt it.
But it is on this podcast.
That is.
Sir, let's get more of those. Set them up before they end about the time that we're on our podcast.
Yeah, what if we do that?
I have started doing more auctions. I don't do a bunch of them, but I do have one. I do have one more auction live right now that's here. Let me.
You're going to share this one with us too.
So they do say that it's good for like podcasts to have reoccurring segments. So what if we now have Stewart's eBay auction ending brought to you unofficially by visitknoxville.com?
Well, that would mean that I would have to know what night we're going to record and always have an auction live that would go.
Well, just start one every day, and eventually we'll have one. See, you just don't know which one it'll be. Johnny, while he's doing this, have you noticed how well your little short has done?
I saw it. I saw it up. Well, you had it on Slim Flippers and on our channel, right?
I did.
And I think yours was doing better.
Well, it may be, but they're both up pretty high. I think this one on this podcast or on this channel, it's like over 500. And that's a new little thing that's called scenes here on StreamYard. And I went through and it automatically created that. And I had like 10 different scenes that there I could have picked. And that's the one I chose because you were talking about our demographic, which I thought was, hilarious. But yeah, it did all where the words come down through there and everything. So it was pretty neat. And just put it up and it's performing quite well, actually.
People like to know demographics. I was laughing because I was scrolling through YouTube and I was like, hey, that's me.
Yeah. What has Wes done now? I didn't authorize this one.
Yeah, there's the other thing I have listed on an auction. So we'll see how it does. It's pretty cool. It's like a poster from the 40s that's an advertisement for this malted milk. And this artist did pinups, mainly did pinup girls, but he did this ad for some reason. So
I've got a question for you, Stewart. Do you ever do anything like this? Do you ever do cards?
I've done a few, but not a lot. I mean, I don't ever buy cards.
This is the point where you all turn away and don't listen to me. This is part of that segment, so y'all don't pay any attention to what I'm showing you right now. You remember Rod Woodson?
Is that Rod Woodson? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Now he is an NFL Hall of Famer, but I'm just wondering if you ever, for your ephemera stuff, you ever done cards like that?
Now, I did my brother and I did a couple of card shows, and the first one we did was really successful. And then the second two were terrible. They were just awful. So I don't do a whole lot.
Was it baseball cards or what?
So the first one, my brother bought a whole collection of cards for $5,000. And I mean, he had already made his money back by the time we did the show. I mean, he had he had gotten a couple like Tom Brady rookies graded, and they graded out really high. And I mean, I think literally off a couple of cards, he made almost all his money back, and everything else was gravy. So we had a lot of like older. They were not all necessarily stars, a lot of commons, but a lot of commons from the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. And we just had this board that had 12 spots on it, and we were putting like 5 cards in each spot, and then people could bid, and they were getting to choose from any 3 spots. And I think the first show we did over $1,000, but then we kind of, I guess, ran out of cards that people were interested in. The problem with cards on whatnot, it's kind of like comics. I think there's just like, if we were to go out there right now and look, there would probably be 500 card shows going on right now.
Yeah. Well, here, I'm going to test you on this one now. Here's another one.
Got Hines Ward?
Nope.
Oh, Leroy Thompson?
Remember him?
Yeah, he played at Austin East, didn't he?
Say it, Johnny. Visit Knoxville.com.
Visit Knoxville.com, yeah. Hold on. I'm gonna be right back. I have something.
Just kind of switching gears just a little bit. Last week, I did my first live selling show on DibDip.
Oh, did you?
On District, yeah. And I contacted Death Pile Picker Mike, and he said, "I tell you what," because I was trying to figure out how to run the show. He said, "You can just piggyback with me," and so he ran the show, and I hopped on with him, and I sold like 25, 30 things on the first show.
Oh wow! What all were you selling?
It was just smalls. We sold some video games and just little small action figures and stuff. It wasn't anything major because I'm just wanting to kind of get my feet wet, and get used to it. But then last night we had another show, and I like how they do it because you have like progressive shipping. I don't know, is that what they do on Whatnot as well?
Yeah, I mean it automatically bundles things and all that, and it works pretty well in the ephemera stuff. It gets a little dicey when you're selling big stuff, but yeah, like small stuff like you were selling that can fit in one box. And
that's really neat because we had basically the same people come back in, and so I just kind of held my orders for a week. We told them we'd be back and we'd run another show. And so when you pay that $6 shipping fee, and then you're like, I think we were at $1.50 for each additional item.
Yeah.
But it was kind of neat to see it. And so I've got 2 DibDip sales underneath my belt now, so I'm going to try to continue with that.
That's how Whatnot used to do the shipping.
That's how picker. Do what?
Yeah, Whatnot used to do the shipping like that, where they would pay like full price for the first, and everyone after that was $1. But it got to be where I don't know. I think they were losing a ton of money, so now they do more of a. It's based on what weight you put in, and like it'll build up. So anything under a pound's based on actual weight, but it ships ground advantage. So like usually the most they'll pay is like $5 or $6. But then from 1 to 5 pounds, once it hits 1 pound, it's $9.21. And it stays at $9.21 till they hit 5 pounds. So you basically get free shipping after you've done $9.21. And then once you get over 5 pounds, then it's ground advantage again at whatever the calculated weight. But a lot of people like me, I cap my shipping at $9.21 because I figure by the time somebody's bought 5 pounds worth of ephemera, they've spent a whole lot of money. So I can afford to absorb any of the shipping just over the 5 pounds. So,
but and it got me thinking with DibDit. Can you sell like that on Whatnot? Because I know they can do it on DibDit.
You can have a co-host, but like only one person's stuff can be like in the catalog. Like if you wanted to sell your stuff, you would have to send them pictures and they would have to enter it in the catalog. And then that also gets into the whole label generation because, it's like one person owns the show and like all the shipping labels are going to have to go through them. So the return address is going to be them. So you can't. I've heard rumor that Whatnot's working on a way to do more like true co-selling shows rather than just having a co-host.
That's what DibDit did. I mean, I can look through and all it does, it shows all my items.
Yeah.
And he has his.
Whatnot talked about doing that, but right now it's, even though you can have one other person, like you can bring them in as a co-host, they can't really sell their stuff unless you got to somehow get it. Like, like we could do it because we're in the same city, but it'd be hard to do it with somebody somewhere else. So,
right.
But
what were you going to show us, Johnny?
On behalf of our unofficial sponsor, visit Knoxville.com. I do have this slugger.
Oh, yeah, there he is. I remember you sent the picture.
Yeah, I got him at the bins. But, guys, I have a fun little game. I have some Knoxville trivia.
Ooh.
And whoever wins this Knoxville trivia, I will send Slugger your way. So he can go in your backdrop.
It can be our official mascot.
Yeah.
Yeah. He doesn't have a stopper, but...
Oh, he's just without his stopper.
All right, get your buzzer ready.
So these are there. I have 5 questions. They're going to get a little bit harder as the time goes. But these are Knoxville related questions. So again, visit Knoxville.com. Question number 1. Knoxville is the birthplace of which soda?
Mountain Dew.
Yes, Wes. Ching. Ding, 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 ding. Wes. Wes. Okay, this one's going to be a toss-up. So this one's going to be easy. So just whoever's the quickest. What year was the Knoxville World's Fair?
1982.
1982.
Oh, Stewart back.
We're tied up 1-1.
1-1. Okay,
Went
ready?
to watch the video on that. He said 82. I was going 1982. It slowed me down.
What year did Dollywood become Dollywood?
86.
Yes, Wes. Yes. Yes. 2-1. All right, guys. Question number 4. And this one is just going to be, you're just going to guess unless you oddly know this. But we all know and love Knoxville, Tennessee. How many other states have some variation of a Knoxville?
4.
I'll say 2.
Stewart, you will win this 4 because the correct answer is 5. There is a Knoxville in Georgia, Iowa, Maryland, and Pennsylvania, and good old Ohio, which we're counting, has a new Knoxville. I don't know if you guys know this.
I didn't
Yeah,
know.
I was going off the old numbers. I did not know about the Ohio Knoxville yet. So.
You didn't know about the new one.
No, actually, the only
Guys,
the only other Knoxville I knew was Knoxville, Iowa, because they have the big race. Some big races, they're like dirt track races.
Guys, we could not have drawn this up better. It is 2-2. The final visit Knoxville.com question to see who wins this Tennessee Smoky Slugger Bank. I look forward to seeing it in your guys' background. This one's going to be hard. You would have to be a true. Are you Knoxvillians? Is that what you are?
That is. We are Knoxvillians.
All right. All right. In 1978, you guys were around. The Knoxville Zoo had the first African elephant that was bred and born in captivity.
Old Diamond.
In the Western Hemisphere, what was his name?
Old Diamond.
Is that right?
Stewart?
Maybe that was the one that was there forever.
I don't know.
That's tough. New Diamond.
I will give it to you, Wes. I will give it to you, but it was Little Diamond.
Little Diamond. Okay.
Little Diamond. Wow,
I was in the neighborhood.
That's good.
That was
I had the diamond part anyway.
Woohoo! Slugger will come your way in a poly bag.
All right. Please. Legs, head, everything.
The hole so we can breathe.
Yeah, Old Diamond was I remember the Old Diamond, but
his father.
I couldn't remember if it was Little Diamond or Old Diamond or something Diamond. So I got that part anyway.
Guys,
thanks for giving that to me, John.
You'll have to hang a shelf on your newly painted wall.
I will.
West, to be
It'll
able
be right
to
up here on the shelf. So you're going to have to give me inspiration now to have Slugger up there now.
Yeah, I'm sure your wife will be thrilled.
She will.
Thank you to our not sponsor, visit Knoxville.com.
But see, now, folks, there's also another segment I guess we need to be running. You all need to let us know, but I kind of like that trivia game. I'll have a trivia game for you all next week. What do you think? And I can ship something to you all for display.
All right. And then it'll be my turn to review a lot of
Knoxville trivia.
Well, it doesn't necessarily have to be Knoxville trivia. It can be anything from our shows, maybe. Okay. It can be anything like that. You just never know.
It's got to be the episodes I was on.
No, I won't do the one that you wasn't on because I want to see
if it's a bunch of Breeze Flipper questions, I'm out. Sorry, David.
Yeah. Oh, that was fun. We had to pass Slugger around, maybe. We'll have an event every month. He looks
excited to be passed around.
Yeah. Maybe I'll find a stopper for him.
I'm assuming this was like a stadium giveaway?
Probably.
Is it like a hard plastic or something?
Yeah. He's like plaster.
Plaster.
Either a giveaway or just came out of the fan shop there.
Yeah.
Maybe on one of our big shows, Johnny, maybe when we get to 500 subscribers, that'll be one of our giveaways. If we can give it to a somebody that one of our subscribers. I don't know. Let us know, folks.
I'll make sure to autograph it before I send it your way.
Yeah, I'll autograph it.
Yeah, you autograph it, then Wes and I can both sign it, and we will guarantee that nobody will want it. But
yeah. So let us know, folks. Do you want us to autograph it or just leave it alone?
We'll try to give it away on the show with some softball questions of like, what's 2 + 2 in area? 8, 10.
I don't know. That was a good idea, Johnny.
As long as it's not that word game again.
Yeah. Oh, come on, Johnny. You were so good at that.
God, that was awesome.
My favorite part of that episode. Y'all remember what episode that was?
It was episode number 45. So
Okay.
just 11
not that long
episodes or
ago.
12 episodes ago.
Well, if you all haven't seen episode 45, go back and watch that, because the funniest thing of that, they were talking about doing that, and Johnny goes, "Uh-oh." You hear him? He has no clue.
That was a fun show all the way around. I mean, we played the Mad Libs, which Johnny loved, and then Lillian almost died during the show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
She
yeah.
got the choking. And Johnny said, "We've never had anybody die on the show."
No.
Boy, that would have been
I was
bad,
nervous.
wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a good idea, Johnny. I like that. But
It was the slow day in the office.
Hey, going back to something we talked about a little earlier, just with me showing the auctions. So do either of y'all ever run auctions, or y'all all buy it now?
You've kind of inspired me. I think I want to, just for the fun of it, to break up the monotony.
Well, you know
what would
when
you suggest I run?
I don't know. I mean, I'll tell you the criteria I generally use for auctions. Like, so take this record, for example, I sold. The whole reason I didn't do it on the buy it now is because, I mean, it went for about what I thought it would. And if I'd have done a buy it now, I probably would have put 45 or something on it. But anytime like there's condition issues like this, I would just rather somebody set the price through an auction. I mean, I've disclosed all those issues, took pictures of everything really well. But, you know, something, and also like that Phantom of the Opera book, same thing. I mean, it didn't really have condition issues, but I felt really comfortable that it would at least go for $50 or $60. And I would have really shortchanged myself on that one if I had not run an auction, because I probably would have done a buy it now at, you know, $70, $75 and probably would have taken an offer of, you know, 60 or something on it. So, like a lot of times, if I don't have I don't know exactly what the value is. You know, I feel like there might be a chance it could go higher, or if it's something that's got condition issues that, you know, I would just rather run it at an auction and see how big a deal the condition issues are to people. So anyway, but yeah, I mean, the thing with an auction, Wes, it definitely has to be something that it's got to be desirable to more than just a small group of people, because, you know, unless, you know, like I said, I gamble with it, and I started at 99 cents and I've really won the last two. You know, this next one, I don't know. I don't have much traction on the views and stuff so far on that advertising piece I showed. So, you know, maybe it'll go for 99 cents. It's got 2 views and 1 watcher. You know, I also try to not do things that I have a whole lot of money in unless I know for sure that they're going to go high. But yeah, it's got to have pretty mass appeal to do an auction, because the nice thing with the buy it now, you know, I usually do my comps. I price somewhere a little above like what the average cost is. You know, I don't try to be the highest, but I don't try to be the lowest either, because you get those impulse buys. You know, an auction, people think about it. So the new thrift shop.
Yeah, it's America's Thrift Store over there. What's your thoughts on that place?
I've been every day, and I've found something every time I've gone. So, and I actually met the warehouse manager, or whatever you would call the back of the store manager, and they were actually giving me tips on the clothes. They said, yeah, anytime we put out new clothes, you know, we're always going to slide everything and put it on the right-hand side. So, you know, when I go look at T-shirts now, I feel like I don't have to go look at every one. I can kind of go look at the first couple, and, you know, I know people probably move stuff around a little bit, but yeah, I mean, that's where I got that record back there. I've found like a lot of knick-knack stuff. They seem to have a lot of that, and it's all priced fairly reasonable too. So been very.
I like how they're displaying like their pants and their shorts, how they turn them. You know, they've got the waistband to the side. So that's pretty neat to see, because that way you can just kind of give a quick look, and you can figure out the size is better instead of reaching over and digging down and trying to find it. You know, it's pretty much right there in your face.
At least so far too, they seem to have an army of people working in there. I don't know if that means they pay better than the average thrift shop. And they seem to have a good charity. It's the Make-A-Wish Foundation of East Tennessee. So I think even though they're a national company, they go in and partner with like a local type charity, and they do Make-A-Wish here in Knoxville anyway.
I think I am going to let it kind of die down a little bit because, I mean, at every little nook and cranny, wherever I went, it was just like somebody there, somebody there, somebody there,
Well,
somebody there. I mean, there was people everywhere in the store.
Yeah, I went today and it was still, I mean, I literally had to park, pretty good ways away. I mean, it was packed, but the store's big enough. It didn't seem overwhelmingly full.
Right.
I intentionally didn't go on they had the soft opening, then they closed for one day and have their grand opening day. And I did not go on the grand opening day because I knew it would be busy. And I went the next day and asked the person, said, "Oh yeah, it was, you couldn't hardly get in here. It was so crowded."
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, overall, and I went back to MVets today and it was still just way overpriced, even though, they used to be my favorite thrift shop and priced everything reasonable. And I think I mentioned they hired some.
The one over near me though it's not overpriced.
Yeah, and it probably depends on who your pricing manager, who the person pricing is, because, it's just.
Didn't you say that person came from Carm?
Yeah, they hired him from Carm, is what the guy who does the checkout told me. So that would explain a lot right there. But, fortunately, thrift shops are such a small part of my sourcing now. I like going in them, but it had gotten to be where I went to AmVets or Goodwill. I just wouldn't find anything, so it was a waste of time to go. At least now with the America's Thrift Shop, the great thing about it, too, with its location, it's basically on my post office route, because now I can with AmVets, it's not like it was a long way, but I had to go on the other side of Cedar Bluff Road, then come back across. With this, I just go turn into where the America's Thrift Shop is, stop in there, then I just loop by the post office, and then I'm back home. So it's really convenient as well. I did come across these cool. Y'all like clowns? Y'all scared of clowns?
No, I'm not scared of them.
Look at those clowns. Are those not creepy?
Yeah, it's creepy.
Then there's this one of them getting a haircut. It's like a clown getting a haircut with like a little clown watching.
Bro.
I know some people like clowns, so I'm hoping those pictures will do pretty well.
Yeah, I feel there's an.
Is that from another estate sale or something?
Can't remember where I got those. I know I got them in the same place. I also got these train pictures that are like press photos from the 20s. So there's 3 of those. I got to decide. I may do them on Whatnot as part of one of my ephemera shows. So, and then y'all know who this is, don't you?
Is that Maryland?
Yeah, from 1955, a magazine from 55. It's in really good shape too. It's like one of those pinup magazines that has, information about all the stars and stuff in it. So I looked, it should go for about $40.
That's neat.
So,
that's pretty cool.
Wow, 300 is going to be here pretty quick, guys. We keep starting to climb,
Yeah, won't be long before we'll be at that 500. Johnny can come over here and we'll do a live all together.
That will be fun, along with Slugger.
When did we do our last live? We've added 61 subscribers since our 200 show.
Yeah.
And just maybe a couple of months, 2 months, was it even been that?
Look back on the thing and see.
Oh yeah, I guess I can look and see. It was on live number 2 was 1 month. It says streamed 1 month ago. Let's see, what was the date on that? See where it gives you the date. It just says 1 month ago, but in any case, so about a month ago.
I know we had a few more past 200 when we did that.
Yeah.
Live. I can't remember exactly how many it was, but still, though, 50 or 60 more since then. That's really good, and we appreciate you all tuning in and hitting that like button and subscribing.
So if I just look real fast, if I just real quick go to the last 90 days, it has us at plus 68 subscribers.
Good. After our show last week, I wonder if any of the 11 to 17-year-old crowd have told their friends about our show. Is our percentage of 11 to 17-year-olds gone up?
Well, I'm going to make another shorts out of this. Well, I'm not going to make it. I'm going to hit this on the StreamYard, and I'm going to post it too. I may post it before the video actually comes out, because it goes through and it randomizes it, and it puts them in their little spots. And
So how long? I haven't watched it yet. So how long is? I'll watch it as soon as the show's over. I just didn't even realize it was out there.
16 seconds.
So it's actually, like you said, that's actually a good. It's a good preview to put out, I guess, before it's not giving anything away, really.
Right. It's just, I mean, he was just talking about our demographic, and it just like 15, 16 seconds, and he just, boom, it was over with.
Okay, guys, we have one of our episodes, just one, received a thumbs down. All of our other episodes have 100% likes. So thank you, guys. Can you name the episode that got one thumbs down?
Halloween.
Yes. Yes.
I think I actually remember that now that you say that.
And I did not know that, by the way. I just figured. They didn't like us dressed up.
I blame Amy's candy selection for that. Somebody.
Ooh, that could be what it was.
Somebody was like, "Who eats that?" Thumbs down.
I'm not eating that.
Maybe it was somebody who doesn't celebrate Halloween. Thought we were like satanic or something.
Oh, it could have been. Oh, it could have been. Maybe it was too edgy of an episode.
We went to the dark side for that episode. Dark chocolate, that is, but.
But yeah, no, I mean, our episodes have been doing pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, we've gotten back. We had a little lull there, and it may have just been the time of the year or something. We had like 2 or 3 videos in a row that we struggled to get to 100 views.
Mm-hmm.
I think they've all since hit 100.
Yeah.
But, I mean, I think we're very comparable to other podcasts that are in our style of show as far as, the views and stuff we're getting. And we're slowly growing over time. So,
and shout out to all the other podcasts that are doing reselling videos as well. It's all about the love and the support in the community,
Who's our biggest competitor? Is it those consignment chat ladies?
Oh, they are a ferocious bunch. I was, before we got on here, I was watching some of their clips from the Boss Reseller remix.
We should have them on to talk about the Boss Reseller remix. Maybe I'll reach out to Molly and see if they're available in the next couple of weeks. We have not had all 3 of them
I'd like
on.
to hear about that.
Yeah, I don't know when the last time we had all 3 of them on. We had Molly on to talk about her coloring book, I guess it was. But that's even been a while ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll reach out to Molly and just ask them if they want to come on in the next couple of weeks. Find out what they've been up to. Not being able to hold your thoughts is not as bad as some of the other stuff you can't hold as you get older, Johnny. So just remember that.
There is that too. So, Johnny, you're going to love life in the next 10 to 15 years. Well, that is all the time that we have this evening on the Finders Flippers Resale Podcast, episode 57, gentlemen. We're going to put this one in the books.
Yeah.
Wow, 57 episodes. Hard to believe. Inching ever closer to our next live. So make sure you tell all your friends about the show, get them to subscribe, and get us back on live here real soon. So
when we hit that 300 subscribers. So, quick master, how many do we need to get there?
From now? What are we at? 31, right?
We're
at 39.
61.
Oh, 39.
We need 39. So, Johnny, thank you for the contest. I'm looking forward to holding Slugger.
Yeah, Slugger coming your way. Congratulations. That was impressive.
So I will have to say I was very impressed that Wes knew the name of the elephant. So
Yeah,
you know, really close to the elephant.
You don't
I had
remember
no
Old
clue.
Diamond? You don't remember Old Diamond?
No, I don't.
I think they actually buried him over there. He's actually buried over there.
I didn't research he was dead. Spoiler alert.
Yeah. I've got one for you, Stewart. Now, we talked about this. This is just a quick trivia. Okay. Johnny, maybe you remember this. Dollywood has had 4 different names. Can you name all 4, starting with the very first one up to...
Oh, they're all very rednecky.
It was
Rebel Railroad.
There you go, Johnny. What's the next one?
okay. Then Gold Rush Junction,
Yep.
Silver Dollar City, and then Dollywood.
Ah,
There you go.
I knew the first one was Rebel something, but that's impressive that Johnny remembered that.
Yeah, Johnny got the hard one, Rebel Railroad. Good job. It basically consists of train tracks and a train and train tracks and a couple of picnic tables.
And a couple of rebels hanging around.
Yeah, rebel rousers that stopped the train up there and put on a show.
When I was Johnny's age, I would have remembered the answer to that. So
Stuart's just staring off into the abyss now. He's just like...
guys, I just found out terrible news. So Little Diamond died in 2014 of a stomach ailment after eating sand.
Ooh. Now, when did Old Diamond pass away? Because I know
I think you made that name up. Louis died in 1980.
1980. I told you I was young. I was like 11 years old then.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
what's the Rhino's name over there, Wes? Do you know that?
No.
Okay. They told us last time I was there, but I don't remember. I mean, he'd been there forever.
The only thing I remember is Old Diamond because I was a young kid. That's all I remember. And I remember we went over there for like field trips and stuff.
Wow, this really puts you down a rabbit hole here. Yeah, Old Diamond. They called him Louis.
Louis. There you go.
All right, guys.
Gentlemen.
Hopefully everybody talks about the podcast at lunch tomorrow at school, and we can get to 300 before you know it.
Yeah. Hopefully so. Well, gentlemen, have a great evening, and we'll talk soon.
Bye, guys.
All right. See ya.
See you guys.